You're standing in a sleek boardroom, your name emblazoned on the company logo, a fortune you built from nothing but grit. Then the door swings open, and in walk the siblings who called you worthless, stole your inheritance, and laughed at your dreams. Now they're here, hats in hand, begging for your help. That was my reality. Growing up, my brothers and sisters treated me like an outsider in my own family. But years later, I turned their betrayal into my triumph. Stick around. This revenge story is one you'll never forget, and it's going to hit you right in the feels. Hey everyone, my name is Maya. I'm 32 years old, and I live in Austin, Texas, where I run Horizon Properties, a real estate investment firm that's reshaping the city's skyline, one affordable, beautiful building at a time. Today, I'm opening up about something deeply personal, a story that's raw, emotional, and honestly, one of the most satisfying moments of my life. If you've ever felt pushed aside, underestimated, or betrayed by the people who were supposed to have your back, this one's for you. Maybe you've dreamed of turning the tables, of showing those who hurt you what you're truly capable of. If that resonates, smash that like button right now, hit subscribe, and turn on that bell so you don't miss a single story like this. My journey from the family outcast to the one my siblings came crawling back to is about to unfold. And trust me, it's a roller coaster of betrayal, hard work, and the sweetest kind of justice. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's dive in. Growing up in a small town in Georgia, in a creaky old house that seemed to sigh with every gust of wind, life was both familiar and suffocating. The air was always thick with the scent of my mom's cooking, collard greens simmering on the stove, cornbread baking until its golden crust filled the kitchen with warmth. Outside, the cicadas buzzed relentlessly, their hum blending with the distant rumble of pickup trucks on our dusty street. I was the youngest of 5 siblings in a family where love was a currency doled out sparingly, and competition was a way of life. My parents, both high school teachers, poured their hearts into their work. Their modest salaries stretched thin to keep 7 of us fed, clothed, and under one roof. The house itself was a patchwork of memories, faded floral wallpaper peeling at the edges, a sagging front porch where we'd sit on sticky summer nights, and a dining room table scarred from years of family arguments. My siblings were a force unto themselves. David, the eldest at 10 years my senior, was the golden boy, a former high school football star with a booming laugh that could fill a room. He'd transitioned into a car salesman, his charm as polished as the vehicles he sold. Marcus, 2 years younger, was the scholar, always buried in books, his wire-rimmed glasses slipping down his nose as he dreamed of law school. Caleb, the middle child, was the rebel, his arms covered in tattoos that seemed to multiply with his defiance, his temper flaring like a spark in dry grass. Vanessa, closest to me at 7 years older, was the princess, sharp-tongued, stylish, with hazel eyes that could disarm with a smile or cut with a glance. Together, they formed a tight-knit pack, bonded by their shared history and an unspoken hierarchy that left me, the baby, on the outside, peering through a window I could never quite open. They called me Mouse because I was quiet, small, always scurrying to avoid their attention. Family dinners were a battlefield, the clink of forks against plates, a tense rhythm to their conversations. I'd sit at the end of the chipped oak table, my plate dwarfed by theirs, listening as they planned vacations, divvied up chores, or debated who'd inherit Dad's old truck. all without ever asking my opinion. "Maya's too young to understand," David would say, waving a hand as if swatting a fly, his voice booming over the clatter of dishes. My cheeks would burn, my hands gripping the edge of my chair, the rough wood digging into my palms until they ached. Inside, my thoughts screamed, "I'm right here. I have ideas too. Why can't you see me?" But my voice stayed locked in my throat, silenced by the fear of their laughter. Vanessa was the cruelest, her manicured nails tapping the table as she'd snap. "Stop trying to act grown, Mouse. You're just in the way." The kitchen's flickering fluorescent light cast harsh shadows, making me feel smaller, insignificant, like a ghost in my own home. The exclusion wasn't just words. It was deliberate, calculated. When I was 10, I discovered a love for drawing, sketching building designs in a spiral notebook I hid under my mattress to keep it safe from their prying eyes. I'd spend hours in my room, the faint smell of mildew from the old walls mixing with the sharp scent of my pencils, dreaming of becoming an architect. My sketches were of skyscrapers piercing the clouds, cozy homes with big windows that let in golden light, places where people felt safe, valued. One evening, feeling brave, I showed Vanessa my notebook, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. She flipped through the pages, her lips curling into a sneer before she tossed it onto the floor, the pages crinkling. "What's this mess? You think you're gonna build houses? Stick to something realistic, Mouse." The others overheard, their laughter echoing through the house like a storm. Marcus, usually reserved, joined in. "She's dreaming too big for her brain," Caleb smirked, leaning against the doorway, his leather jacket creaking. "Yeah, maybe you can clean houses instead. That's more your speed." My chest tightened, a hot lump rising in my throat, as I scooped up my notebook, its pages now bent and smudged. I retreated to my room, the door's creak a final punctuation to their dismissal. Why can't they see me? I thought, tears stinging my eyes as I traced the lines of my drawings. I'm not nothing. I'll show them. The betrayal deepened over the years, each slight piling onto the last, like stones in a wall between us. Family game nights were a mockery. I'd be left out of teams, my suggestions ignored, as they roared with laughter over inside jokes I wasn't privy to. Birthdays were the worst. Mine would pass with a store-bought cake and half-hearted happy birthdays, while theirs were celebrated with barbecues, music, and cousins filling the backyard with noise. The smell of charcoal and grilled burgers would waft through the air, but I'd be sent to my room to stay out of trouble. The isolation was suffocating, a constant reminder that I was an outsider in my own family. Powerlessness gnawed at me, a dull ache that settled in my bones, whispering that I'd never be enough. The ultimate blow came when I was 17, in the summer of 2013, after a tragedy that shattered our already fragile family. My parents died in a car accident, a drunk driver, a rainy night, a collision that stole their laughter, their warmth, their presence. The house felt like a hollow shell, without Mom's humming in the kitchen, or Dad's quiet encouragement as he helped me with math homework. Grief was a heavy fog, clouding everything, making the world feel muted, gray. The estate, savings, a life insurance payout, and our old house was all we had left of them. It wasn't a fortune, about $200,000 total, but it was meant to be split among us. My siblings, now in their 20s and 30s, took charge, holding late-night meetings in the living room, the air thick with the bitter smell of cheap coffee and their hushed voices. I sat on the edge of the sagging couch, picking at a loose thread, hoping for fairness, my heart heavy with loss, but clinging to the idea of family. I was wrong to hope. David, with his commanding voice, declared, "Maya's too young to handle money. We'll manage her share until she's older." Vanessa nodded, her manicured nails glinting under the lamp. "She'd just waste it anyway. You know how she is." Marcus, ever the planner, drafted paperwork, his pen scratching like a judge's gavel. Caleb didn't even show up, already spending his cut on a new motorcycle that roared through the neighborhood, its engine a taunt. When the dust settled, my share was a measly $5,000 in a trust I couldn't touch until I was 21, while they split the bulk. $195,000 and the house's sale proceeds among themselves. I overheard Vanessa on the phone one night, her voice low but clear through the thin walls. "Mouse doesn't need it. She's got no plans, no future. Let her figure it out." The words hit like a sledgehammer, my stomach twisting, my fists clenching until my knuckles turned white. I lay on my lumpy mattress, staring at the ceiling's water stains, the hum of the neighbor's TV seeping through the walls. They took everything, I thought, tears soaking my pillow. My parents, my future, my voice. Betrayal burned hot, but beneath it, a spark of defiance flickered, a craving for justice, for validation, for proving I was more than their mouse. That spark became my anchor. I moved to Atlanta to live with my Aunt Clara, a nurse whose apartment smelled of lavender air freshener and hospital antiseptic. She gave me a small room with a single window overlooking a noisy street, and though she worked long shifts, her kindness was a lifeline. "You're stronger than you know, Maya," she'd say, her tired smile a rare warmth. High school was a fresh start, but no less challenging. New faces, new judgments. But I threw myself into my studies, particularly math and design. Late nights, I'd huddle over a second-hand laptop, its fan whirring like a tired old dog, teaching myself CAD software from free online tutorials. The glow of the screen cast shadows on the walls, my fingers trembling with exhaustion, but driven by purpose. Aunt Clara slipped me $20 here and there for supplies, her encouragement fueling me. "You're gonna be something, Maya." College was my proving ground. I earned a partial scholarship to Georgia Tech, majoring in architecture with a minor in business. My dorm was a cramped shoebox, shared with a roommate who blasted pop music at all hours, the walls vibrating with bass. I survived on instant ramen and coffee, my hands perpetually stained with espresso or chalk dust from tutoring sessions. Every internship rejection, every professor who scoffed at my unconventional designs, low-cost housing with sleek aesthetics, echoed my siblings' taunts, "Too big for your brain." But I pressed on, fueled by that burning need to prove them wrong. Nights in the library, surrounded by the musty smell of old books and the hum of fluorescent lights, I would find my portfolio, dreaming of buildings that could change lives. I graduated with honors at 22, landing a job at a small real estate firm in Austin, Texas. Austin was a revelation, vibrant, alive with the strum of live music from 6th Street bars, the air rich with the scent of tacos from food trucks and cedar from the surrounding hills. I started small, flipping fixer-upper houses, my evenings filled with the screech of power tools and the sharp tang of sawdust. Each sale was a victory, a brick in the foundation of my confidence. By 25, I founded Horizon Properties, my own real estate investment firm, in a tiny office above a taco shop. The air thick with cumin and grease. I focused on sustainable, affordable housing, modern designs that didn't sacrifice beauty for cost. Investors were drawn to my passion, my vision of homes where families like mine could thrive. By 28, Horizon was a name in Austin, with projects valued at over $50 million. Our offices now in a glass tower downtown. The hum of traffic below mingling with the buzz of my team's energy. Success wasn't just financial. It was personal. Every ribbon-cutting ceremony, every family moving into a home I'd designed was a silent rebuke to the siblings who'd called me worthless. The moment of reckoning came in April 2025, when Horizon announced a $20 million affordable housing project, a sleek complex designed to blend affordability with beauty. The news hit the Austin Business Journal, my face on the front page, standing in front of a model building, my smile confident but not smug. Partnership proposals and resumes flooded in, piling up on my desk in our conference room, where the air conditioning hummed softly, and the scent of my assistant Priya's jasmine tea mingled with the polish of the mahogany table. Priya slid a stack of emails across to me one morning, her brow furrowed. "Maya, you'll want to see these. They're personal." My heart skipped as I read the names. David, Marcus, Vanessa, Caleb. My siblings, each reaching out with emails that dripped with false warmth and barely veiled desperation. David's message mentioned his struggling dealership and how a partnership with Horizon could benefit us all as a family. Marcus, now a lawyer with a failing practice, offered legal services, his tones stiff but pleading. Vanessa, recently divorced and scraping by, pitched her marketing expertise from a short-lived boutique job. Caleb, unemployed after bad investments, asked for a consulting role, his email vague but tinged with urgency. My hands trembled, not with fear, but with a surge of vindication that made my skin tingle. They need me now, I thought, a smile tugging at my lips, my pulse quickening like a drumbeat. After all they stole, they're at my door. I invited them to Austin for a potential collaboration, my voice calm as I sent the invitations. But inside, anticipation crackled like static. The meeting was set in our boardroom, a pristine space with floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing Austin's skyline, the air crisp with the scent of leather chairs and fresh coffee. I wore a tailored navy suit, my hair pulled back, exuding the confidence I'd fought so hard to earn. My team prepped the room. The projector humming softly, the wall clock ticking like a metronome. One by one, my siblings arrived, their faces a mix of hope, unease, and forced familiarity. David walked in first, his broad shoulders slouched, his suit slightly wrinkled, a far cry from the golden boy who'd once commanded our family. "Maya, damn look at you," he said, his laugh forced, eyes darting around the room, taking in the sleek decor. Vanessa followed, clutching a designer bag that looked like her last splurge, her smile brittle as she murmured, "Didn't expect this from you, mouse." Marcus, glasses perched on his nose, tried to play it cool, but his hands shook as he set down his briefcase, papers spilling slightly. Caleb was last, his tattoos faded, his leather jacket out of place among the corporate polish, his eyes avoiding mine. I let them sit, the silence heavy, the clock's tick loud in my ears. "So," I began, my voice steady, each word deliberate. You're interested in partnering with Horizon. Why? David launched into a rehearsed pitch about his dealership's potential, but his words faltered as I leaned forward, my gaze sharp. Your business is underwater, David. You've had 2 bankruptcies in 5 years. What value do you bring? His face reddened, his jaw tightening. A flicker of the old arrogance fading fast. Vanessa jumped in, her voice high-pitched. I could market your projects, Maya. I've got connections. I raised an eyebrow, my tone cool. Connections? Like the boutique that folded in 6 months after you mismanaged its budget? Her lips parted, but no words came, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Marcus tried next, citing his legal expertise, his voice steady, but his hands betraying him, fidgeting with his pen. Your practice has 3 malpractice suits pending, Marcus, I said, my words cutting like a blade. Why would I trust you with my company's contracts? Caleb slouched in his chair, muttered about consulting, but his eyes dropped when I pressed for specifics. What skills do you have, Caleb? Your last venture lost $100,000 in a year. The room went still, their faces a gallery of shock, anger, and humiliation. David's clenched fists, Vanessa's trembling lips, Marcus's stunned silence, Caleb's flushed cheeks. I stood, pacing slowly, the click of my heels echoing in the quiet. Let's talk about trust, I said, my voice low, but firm. Each word weighted with years of pain. When Mom and Dad died, you took everything. My share of the inheritance, the house, my future. You called me mouse, said I'd never amount to anything. You excluded me, mocked my dreams, and left me with nothing but a trust I couldn't touch. Yet here I am, running a company worth more than all of you combined. I paused, letting the words sink in, their eyes wide, breaths shallow. I built Horizon to help people, families who need homes, not betrayers who steal from their own. You're here because you need me, but I don't need you. David's voice cracked, desperation seeping through. Maya, we're family. We made mistakes, but we can work together. I cut him off, my tone sharp. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't mock dreams or leave their sister with crumbs. Marcus tried to argue, his lawyerly tone weak. We were protecting you, Maya. You were just a kid. I laughed, sharp and cold, the sound echoing off the glass walls. Protecting me. You protected your wallets while I grieved alone. Caleb slammed a fist on the table, his face red. You think you're better than us now, huh? Sitting up here in your fancy office? I met his glare, unflinching. I know I am, Caleb. I built this from nothing while you squandered everything. I didn't partner with them. Their proposals were flimsy, their motives transparent, desperation, not talent. I dismissed them with a polite, "We'll be in touch." But the real payoff was their reactions. David's clenched fists as he stormed out, muttering curses under his breath. Vanessa's humiliated sniffles, her mascara smudging as she grabbed her bag. Marcus's stunned silence, his briefcase clutched like a shield as he shuffled away. Caleb's angry exit, the door slamming so hard the framed awards on the wall rattled. Relief flooded me, a tidal wave that washed away the weight of years. The powerlessness, the betrayal, the sting of being called mouse. Triumph surged through my veins, validating every late night, every tear, every sketch in that hidden notebook. I wasn't the outsider anymore. I was Maya, architect of my own empire, holding the power they'd never imagined I could wield. Looking back, this wasn't about cruelty or sinking to their level. It was about justice, pure and simple. Karma has a way of circling back, a slow but steady wheel that crushes those who think they can hurt others without consequence. I learned that real strength isn't in revenge for revenge's sake. It's in building something meaningful, in proving your worth to yourself first. If you've ever been pushed aside, betrayed, or told you're not enough, hear this. Your story isn't over. Channel that pain into purpose. Keep pushing, and one day you might find yourself holding the power. That's the sweetest victory of all. Wow, reliving that moment still gives me chills. Hope it sparked something in you too, whether it's fire, inspiration, or just a good old sense of justice served. If this story hit home, smash that like button to show some love, and drop a comment below. What's the most satisfying revenge or comeback you've ever seen or lived through? Maybe it was family drama, a coworker's betrayal, or a friend who underestimated you. Spill the tea. I read every single comment and love hearing your stories. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and that bell icon so you never miss more real-life tales of betrayal, triumph, and epic justice. Thanks for watching, you incredible people. Stay strong, keep dreaming big, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.